Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. I am your game master for today, the Bardic Knock. You can find me on the internet, Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and YouTube, all as the Bardic Knock. Today, we're continuing with our Final Fantasy D6 game, the Rebels of Spira. I was going to say a different sentence, and then I stopped because I forgot what I was saying. So, yes, Rebels of Spira. I will give a brief recap of events after the players introduce themselves, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun today, because things we're all slightly confused and alarmed because the plan has succeeded so far. So, either everything's going to go really smooth, or we're right on the precipice of everything going terribly, terribly wrong. So we'll see. With that, ATB, would you be so kind as to say words, please?
Hi, I am a tired by. My voice is a bit scratchy today, but it's okay. I am playing as Lilith today, who is the party's Dark Knight. You can find me, over here every second Saturday for the One Piece TTRPG, which is After the Azure Com. Hopefully I'll be there and fine for Saturday, because it just so happens that the Saturday we're gonna be playing is also the day that I have a final exam at very late in the evening for myself for university, so we'll see how that goes. I might have to leave a bit early for that, but yeah. And also you can find me over on the Undead Case channel for every second Thursday, so this coming Thursday. For Curse of Strawberrovian Days, and yeah, that is pretty fun. We're currently trying to figure out how to go about a certain side quest that we've not really abandoned, but we thought that we couldn't handle it, but now we think that we can, so yeah. And then over on Marines, we have the Davy back going on there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, cool. Next up, we have Andy. Andy, would you be so kind as to say words, please?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Andy. I can be found on Twitter at Anthony Tift, and I am starting to recruit for a Tuesday night and possibly Friday night game, as of yet to be determined. And this morning I am playing Herbie, my very, very confused engineer that was just trying to go to class and ended up wrapped up in this.
I still think that's just it just brings me so much enjoyment. Just lost student going, okay, guess I'm on a mission now.
Gotta roll with it.
It's very fun. All right, then finally we have Rain. Rain, say words, please.
Hello, I am Rain Hayes, and I'm playing Reno Boom, the chaotic Boom Kitty. You can find me sometimes on So Many Games doing their charity games, and you can find me on the Dungeon Masters Guild, where I just last night released a new product for the Creepers, which is a new playable race. Other than that, I'm not doing much.
All right, yeah, sounds good to me. All right, recap. So last time, a vague plan was set in motion. Of we have just entered Guadalsalam, and we are aware that the Grand Maester Perumpt is currently here, doing something or other. We're not entirely sure what. We didn't really ask or find out. We just know that he's here, and went, you know what? Let's just do it. And the vague plan was set into motion of spreading, not a rumor, more just general information about a big plan of we're all going, like the whole city is going to perform a mass sending as part of a display to celebrate Pahrumpt, and you spread that information. You met a very strange mixture of NPCs from here, there, and everywhere. You interacted with some rather curmudgeonly Guado, with some out-of-towners. You met a strange person who was both very sketchy but also surprisingly fun to interact with. I can't remember the name he gave himself. I want to say it was like Jim, but in a really like Jim kind of what. So it spelt weird, as far as you're aware. So you met him. He was very pretty, but we don't really know what his deal is. And then we asked like exactly one whole person if anybody knew anything about a Guado who went missing a few decades ago, only to find out that our lovable, let's put that in finger quotes, lovable companion probably is actually the long lost prince, essentially, of Guado Salar. And so you have been rushed and ushered to engage in some rather extravagant feast at the did I actually say the title? Because as far as I'm aware, there isn't really a title for the leader of Guado.
Is there any, like, canon title for?
I don't know. I don't think they've ever actually been given a title. Because, the only Guado we've known who held the position were Seymour and Jiskel, and they were both maesters of Yevon. So Maester took their
Yeah.
title. So I don't know if
But
there's an actual title for their as ruler of the Guado. So
Yeah, like, because Seymour didn't get the title from being a leader of the Guado, he got it from like his affiliation with Yevon. It
Well,
says that his father was just a priest, which, spoiler alert, Seymour's father was the previous leader, I guess.
yeah.
Then
So
again, I don't know.
So I'm gonna try and not go too far off because official canon is irrelevant in this story. But Jiskel, who was the father of Seymour, he was renowned because he brought the Guado into Yevon. Like, he was the first Guado who engaged in that and brought them into the fold of the religion. For that, they're very separatist and did their own thing. Similar would be Ronso. I can't remember the name of the Ronso who did the same, but that's how he became a maester, and that's why Jiskel was beloved and like, oh wow, he's so good, and I can't believe you died. How sad. What do you mean it was Seymour? Gasp. So that's that. So official title, I don't know. I don't want to say king because it's not really that. What's the name of somebody who like rules over a city? It's not really
A duke or a
Governor, mayor.
I mean, mayor would work. I just don't think mayor is quite grandiose enough.
yeah.
Baron.
There could be like a duke or a count.
Oh, I like count. Yeah. So
Because in
that
the
counts.
wiki, it just calls Jiskel a lord, and it says his occupations are maester and leader.
I like count. I dig count. Is there an official term for the child of a count? Or do they just normally get called heir? Like, you'd think, as
Hold
someone who lives in a country that still has these nonsensical titles, I'd know this, but I'm just like, I don't think they do.
Hold on. They would just be called counts or countess.
Even a child?
Well, it says that like in after 1809, only the head of the family was called Count. The rest would have a status similar to barons and were called by equivalent of Mr. or Mrs. before the recognition of titles of nobility was abolished.
It could also be, they would use not like formal titles, but indications of rank, like a scion.
Mm-hmm.
There's also like just calling them lord or lady.
Yeah, okay, so they'd probably all just address this, but like, okay, cool. This wasn't really important, but I wanted to explore it because it's interesting.
When you get a group of neurodivergent people with a problem.
We go, alright, Google.
I used to know this stuff, and
I
I wanted to refresh myself.
try and scrub as much knowledge as I can of this like hierarchical nonsense out of my brain, but it's stuck there.
I learned of it through Crusader Kings, and I wanted to not be confused anymore.
Also, super reasonable. Okay, so the Duke of Guadalsalam has invited you into this rather elegant, extravagant feast at their manor, and that is where we ended last session. You walked inside the manor. You're in this wonderful entrance hall. There's a room. There was a very extravagant doorway covered in like various jewels and finery that looks as if it's leading into another room. There's also a double staircase, so leading up both sides of this room. You can see portraits of previous dukes lining the walls up the upstairs area. Also, currently in this in this entrance hall, you see Maester Perumpt in all his visible grotesqueness. Just this bad person. Like, I can't do more than like if I could go into needless detail, but I think when I just say, yeah, Perumpt, you just look and go, this is a bad person. I can see it on you. I can smell it on you. I can sense it from 10 feet away from this horrible aura of badness. And you see him stood there holding a crystal bowl of, I don't know, probably nuts or something. Like, nuts.
Cheese puffs.
You know what? Yeah, they're cheese puffs. He's got cheese puff stains on his fingers. He kind of wipes them down on his white shirt. Like, he's got like a white robe that he's wearing, and it's got cheese puff dust stains on it. It looks gross. Like it just, everything is just like, ew. Ew. So, that is where we will start off. You are in the entrance hall. You have been brought in by the Duke, who is very, very happy and is like overzealous in his joy that you have brought home his lost child. And who is like the front of the party? Who is here that the Duke is going to be like vociferously holding the hand and shaking it and, you know, putting an arm around to be like, oh, this is wonderful, wonderful, I'm so glad and so happy, you're so lovely, it's so wonderful, I can't believe you've done this great service to my fine, fine city.
I have a very, like, amusing thought that it's either Hans or Mekakui.
Like he just assumed that either Mekakui or Hans was the leaders.
They just happen to
Or
be the first
something.
ones through the door.
A part of me,
The rest of us decided to just slowly step back because we were like, no, don't touch me, please.
so a huge part of me does love the nature of assumption, because Hans is a big guy. Hans is big and wide and every stereotypical, like, I am the hero type looking thing. So I kind of love the assumption that someone went, you did it. Ah. And Hans there going, no. I didn't do that. No.
Like Hans is trying to explain himself, like actually it was more of these three people, and Dirk's just like, what? No, you're
Well-
big, you're strong, you're a guy.
The thing is, I don't think Hans is actually allowed to talk. He keeps trying, so it's like, oh, it's so wonderful, I'm so happy. Look at me, so big. Of course you found him. You must have gone sent on a years-long quest. And Hans like, no. I am saying no. I didn't do it. But I'm sure you did. Oh yes, you're just being honest. It was my friends. They did it. No. It's very that, and Hans is
I'm gonna look at Val's
woefully
face.
uncomfortable.
I'm gonna look at Val's face to see if she reacts to him with amusement to Hans being in this situation, because Hans isn't like this very often.
Val, who is almost always visibly, I'm not going to say uncomfortable, because discomfort can be misinterpreted as a lot of different things. She's always visibly angry. Being in here, it's almost like someone took that dial and twisted it a little bit further. It's like, if this was a little bit more cartoonish, you're fairly certain you'd be able to see steam coming out of her ears at every given moment. And she is suppressing so much unbridled rage. And looking at Hans, and Hans looks back, and Hans is like, I don't know what to do. I don't like it. This isn't fun at all for me. I don't stop. Please stop. And Val is like, her eye is twitching, and she's like, That's okay. This is great. I'm so happy that you're making my friend incredibly uncomfortable. I'm super happy that we're here doing this.
I'm gonna do a Reno. I'm just gonna lean in towards Val. I'm like, is it gas? Do you like need to step away? Is it gas?
No. It's fine.
So I think they're about to give us food. I don't want that to be a problem.
It's good. Don't worry about Reno. Everything's great. I'm so fucking happy.
Look at it this way: we get to destroy a monster soon.
Yeah, that wasn't my happy place.
Let's think of the happy place.
Reno is helping.
So the Duke, I don't think I ever actually gave him a real name at any point, so we'll just call him the Duke. He kind of he takes Probably's hand and goes, no, come, child. We're going to get you all sorted out. We're going to, we'll send you up. We'll send you to your room. We'll let the staff take care of you. We'll get you all cleaned and washed up and made all presentable again. Every year we made sure to get as many clothes as possible. We've got a full wardrobe because we knew you'd come back. So we'll don't worry. It's all taken care of. It was an enormous waste, finances and resources, and some poor people had to, staff members having to go and clean an empty room, for decades. It was all worth it. But you'd be back. I'm so proud. Thank you so much, my child. And Bobby goes, okay, I kind of like what I'm wearing though, so can I just keep this on? This makes me happy and comfortable. I made it myself. And the Duke just looks and goes, yeah. Come, shoo. The Duke will bring out a little bell and ring it, and like 3 Guado attendants will walk down the stairs, and they'll essentially usher Probably off upstairs. And Probably is like, but I want to stay on my flight. No. Okay. Bye. See you soon.
feel like we've made a grievous mistake.
I am still. My brain is still trying to catch up with everything that's happened so far.
I don't think that's gonna happen for the next 3 days.
Yeah. Probably I'll need to just take a rest for 3 days to reboot.
Oh,
Look at Raiko. Like, are you doing okay? This is a lot.
Yeah, how are you? How are you doing? You doing, buddy?
you know, I'm doing okay. You know, I'm not super happy. And Raiko kind of looks around and then like puts a hand up to like whisper. It's right there. We're trying to kill him.
Yeah, I know.
We're not trying to kill him because he's already dead.
I'm very uncomfortable because he's literally right over there.
He looks very preoccupied with those. Wait, are those Cheeto Puffs? I thought they were very expensive carrots. Oh god, those are Cheeto Puffs.
I don't think that he knows much of anything.
I just can't comprehend somebody being that unjustifiably confident. Look at him. He has to know something's going on. He can't be that self-absorbed. It's just inhuman. It's not plausible.
That's kind of the point.
I mean, counterpoint. Aside from possibly Hans and Val, I don't think, okay, hold on, backing up. Aside from Herbie, Hans and Val, and Biggs and Wedge, the rest of us in the party aren't human. Technically.
I'm not entirely sure about Val.
You know what? That's a really valid point. Quite frankly, I think we need to reevaluate language as a whole and maybe change something
I
in the way.
don't even know if my species is here.
I don't know. So
Is it okay for us to refer to us as species, though? I know some people don't like that term.
I don't know. It's very complicated area of conversation. But thank you for calling me out on that, Val. I'm not even human. I really shouldn't use human as the default when referring to sentient species.
Lilith was the one that called you out, not Val. Said Lilith is the one that called you out, not Val.
I don't know. I'm just saying words. I'm confused.
You're getting the Dark Knight and the Dragoon mixed up again.
Look,
It's okay, Raiko. We're all confused.
Look, like he's just standing there, menacingly.
Wait.
At which point, Perumpt just belches. Like, it's gross. Like, see, he knows.
Do you think when we perform the sending that he'll just become a cloud of cheesy poofs?
Oh god.
That's a horrifying thought. Meanwhile, I just love the idea of Herbie being like crouching in Stromer's whispered conversation, having no context for anything. Going, what?
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Although
Nothing
I'll
is
take
wrong
note
here.
that Victoria has obviously lost her ever-loving mind with some of these nobility people.
Oh yeah, it's a very, well, I can't even think of a correct word. It's just a very alienating experience to have your group here and you go, I just don't get it. The Duke, well, the Duke has taken hands off. Like, hands is like being showed around and pointing at all the pictures and going, so this is my great grandfather, and what he did is not a whole lot much, but he was very wealthy.
I'm starting to feel bad for Hans.
Yeah,
I'm gonna like glance at Val and I'm like, do you want me to do something about that?
Mm, it- do you mind? It'd be pretty useful.
I'm gonna raise my hand like I'm gonna form a goblin bomb, and then realize no, we were gonna be subtle about this. I'm gonna walk over, and while the Duke is like shaking Hans's hand and explaining things and gesticulating, I'm just going to insert my hand and kind of nudge Hans away,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of be there instead of Hans
Yeah.
when he's looking back.
So as you do that, Hans looks and goes, "Thank you. Thank you very, very, very much." And Hans like tiptoes away, hoping to not be seen. The Duke is just continuing on. And this is my great great grandfather, and we'll see what he did. He's what was it? He came up with this wonderful thing, something about like how we could increase productivity by making use of children as workers. It's something. It was very, very, very ingenious. Oh, would you like to hear about my great grandfather?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, I would.
oh, totally. Great grandfathers.
So, now, I assume you're one of the, I can't remember the correct term, one of the hanger-ons, the entourage, the sidekicks, the such and such, this wonderful great hero you have here.
Well, sometimes the great hero needs bodyguards.
Yes. Because, if a great hero were to defend himself against certain things, it would cause a whole lot of damage. I assume they're here to just, stop and go, no. You don't want him to hurt you, so we'll yes.
Yes, we're what you might call a buffer.
Yes.
Did any of your great grandfathers just experiment with bombs?
No. No.
There's always that
question.
There's always that one member of the family that goes a little bit off from the rest of the line that wants to experiment with other things. I have a cousin who's an accountant.
I also have I have a sister who's an accountant.
Maybe
Amazing how often they'll go off to be accountants.
I believe there's some other family line. They went into some silly business. I can't remember what it was. Something menial and practical, like shipbuilding or something. I don't know. Oh, I think one wants to be a doctor. How ridiculous!
But think of how useful it would be to have a doctor around when somebody tries to talk at you.
I don't get it.
That's the point.
There's probably some time before dinner. Would any of you like a tour? Or I'm sure we can make our way through to the parlor. We could probably, pass time, speak of current events, talk of great literature, and we could have a salon, discuss poetry and such. Some rip-roaring fun.
Reno's eyes get this, like, middle distance stare of trauma from their past. She snaps back. She goes, we would love a tour. Would Rump be able to join us? Trying to keep him within sight of at least one person.
The Duke looks over at Prom and goes, yes, Grand Maester, I assume you would like to come on. And Prom goes, well, I suppose I probably should travel along. I don't want anyone to make assumptions about me having some kind of collusion going on. So, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. We can take some opportunities. We can get some good publicity shots. I think that'd be really good. Then wipes cheese
we're just gonna
dust
lean in
down
towards
himself again.
Rena's gonna lean in towards Lilith and Herbie, like, we need to stall for like an hour so they can get the
Yeah.
word around to dance.
I mean, we could all. I mean, there's always another thing of just asking about how Ploppa Boy got lost in the first place. I'm sure that would buy us more time.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Backstory is always very exposition-y.
Plus, you know, I'm kind of curious myself.
But
But
very
also
long
would buy us
pause. And,
time.
oh yes, me too. Yes, I'm very curious.
Mhm.
With that, the Duke will go. We'll have a small salon while we wait. Come. I'll have the help set all up. Come. He'll ring some bells, and a bunch of attendants will come. They'll guide you through. You walk through the very extravagant-looking dining room, and you can see that it's being laid out. You know, long table. It's got centerpieces on it already with bouquets of flowers and all kinds of things. And each place setting, you can see it's already got like 5 forks and knives set up, and you go, why?
5 forks and 5 knives.
For each place setting in various different shapes and sizes. As you get walked through and you go back another room and you find yourself in quite a cozy environment. You know, it's filled from floor to ceiling with books. You know, tons of books, very rare, important-looking books that look as if they've not been touched or moved off these shelves in years. They're kind of just there to show off that this person owns them, and somebody else who would actually make use of it doesn't. And there's
Me and
some
my soul.
lovely seating. It's you know, like hand carved wood going onto like soft, wonderful velvet cushions. It's painfully extravagant. To which Parumt sees there's a Shenlong that's probably a little too small for him, but he's like, no. And Parumt goes and he positions himself. He sprawls himself out on the Shenlong, just like getting in position. You know, is this
Like this is like the dean's office, except without the bubble window.
with everybody? You know, you don't have to sit down. You know, there's sofas and armchairs, but you know, it's perfectly acceptable to stand. An attendant will come through, carrying a tray with glasses on it. So one attendant will have this tray of glass, and then will come in with a variety of bottles of various drinks. You know, some alcoholic, some non-alcoholic, and essentially going around asking what people would like. So with that, Lilith, what drink are you having?
Hmm. Something with alcohol. Something with alcohol I feel would fit Lilith at this point in time.
There's various spirits, there's wine.
Name me a good alcohol, Bardic. Name me a good drink.
It kind of depends on the mood. In the standard, if you're trying to, you know, repress, if you're wanting a spirit, it'd probably be a kind of whiskey, most likely, because that's easy to sip, but also easy to shot. And it actually has enjoyable flavor. If you are just wanting to numb yourself, I personally would go for anything vodka or gin based. Wine is also fine.
You know what? Lilith is going to have whiskey.
Yep. So this.
I don't know if that's if that's a drink that nobles drink, but also I don't think Lilith in this scenario would care. She wouldn't care.
No, nobles drink. Nobles drink a lot.
Okay.
So you get this whiskey, it's got some ice in it, it's there. It's really nice. You can taste the woody undertones. There's like it gives a soft burn, like not a bad burn, just like a gentle tickling of the mouth and throat as you go. Yeah, this takes the edge off. This is very good. Clearly very expensive. Herbie, what drink do you want? What drink are you taking?
Yeah, Herbie's kind of blinking. Do you have any English tea?
The attendant goes, yes, we can. We'll just wait a moment. I'll have to bring a.
Do they know what English is?
Don't question. So an attendant will get you a cup of tea.
The Empire's gone everywhere.
Look, the British Empire invaded a lot of places.
Would it just be called common tea, since like a lot of like regular English languages and games is just called common?
I think common tea would probably make the most sense. I believe a technical term, which I think is just black tea, but then you add milk or whatever to it, as opposed to green tea. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's black tea.
Yeah. But yes, they'll make you a tea and bring it through in a moment. Once everyone else has their drink. Reno, what drink are you taking?
Reno is going to take a stein of spiced mead.
Yep.
And when nobody's watching, is going to slip 2 of the bottles off of wherever they are into saddlebags that are attached to Mekakui.
Yep. Good choice. Raiko asks for milk. Just milk.
That's fair.
Hans asks for a juice box. They pull out the
Hans.
finest of juice boxes.
It's
I
box
imagine-
wine.
I imagine they tried to put it in like a giant goblet or something, and he's
Hans
just
goes,
like, no,
No.
box,
No,
no.
the box is where the flavor is.
They put the box into the goblet. We have to have standards here.
Val,
That's got to be the greatest challenge. How do you present a box in high society?
you know what? I would love to
Put a
find
few
out.
gems onto it.
I mean, the thing is, I know exactly what they do. I mean, not even in high society. I've just known people with more money than sense, where they will get the juice box or the Capri Sun or whatever, and then they will pour it into a glass. It's like,
But why?
it's there. It's
Don't
designed.
waste stuff. It wastes. Then you'd have to clean the glass.
Yep. And I've seen people do it.
Just get a jug at that point.
I have
Is it
seen
fun?
people do it on picnics. So they have specifically gone to a picnic, and they'll get the juice box out, and they'll prick it, and then they'll pour it in to a glass.
No.
And you
Listen,
go,
I know I'm American, but that's odd.
yeah.
But then you miss the fun of you drink it as the package slowly shrinks and down and just gets all crunchy.
You miss out on
That makes sense.
the sheer joy of being able to, like, essentially shotgun a Capri Sun. You go, yeah, E numbers, go.
And then you got the straw afterwards.
Yeah, which is
And you can
essentially
just-
like a deadly weapon.
These are the people that eat hot dogs with a knife and fork.
The title of this stream: Lilith's player is in major pain. Send help.
So yes, they present a juice box for Hans. Val just takes the whole bottle of vodka and goes, "This is mine." Go away.
Val's had a day.
And for ease, I'm gonna say Biggs and Wedge excuse themselves, because they took a second. They're gonna excuse themselves. They're gonna go and make sure that things are being set up to do the thing outside, just for ease. They're like, all right, we'll take care of this. Let's go.
You spreading rumors.
Rumors.
What if they're leaving the room?
You know
just
what?
chanting rumors.
Good on Biggs and Wedge.
They show some initiative.
Yeah. So that's what they're going and doing, just because I don't need any more NPCs in this goddamn room. Oh god, Perumpt. What the frick? What the hell is Perumpt gonna drink? Perumpt
These puffs.
demands some ridiculous martini of sorts, and puts a cheese puff in the martini, and gets you know how certain drinks, usually margaritas, have the rim of the glass encrusted in salt.
Huh?
Perumpt encrusts the rim of this glass with cheese puff dust.
How do you do that?
You
The glass.
basically you slick up the tip of the glass with whatever drink you're having, and you dip it into the salt, and the salt sticks to it.
Yeah, so you do that and then you put the drink in it. I'm not saying like you like just dunk salt onto the glass. There you go.
Honestly, I just assumed that people just put salt into the drink. Like
I
they
like-
just be like, get the salt shaker. There's good.
I like
It's
the
salted.
idea. I like the idea that Prompt orders a drink that is a complicated and beautiful concoction, but orders it to be made in exactly the wrong way to offend everybody.
You know what? That is exactly it. So he asks for a martini to be stirred, but he demands that the level be 70 part, like 7 part vermouth, 3 part gin, with a pickled egg garnish, with cheese doodle crusting, and just everyone just goes, stop.
It goes from being a
Please.
martini to a bamboozle.
Yeah, everyone's just looking at, no. Just stop.
Even Reno looks slightly offended.
And
Lilith has just it just has 1,000-yard stare at this point.
the Duke is just going to have wine. They do return with tea for Herbie, and so they're all. Where does everyone position themselves in this room? Out of curiosity, are people sitting? Are people standing? Are people going and checking the books and occasionally looking over their shoulder to engage in polite conversation?
Reno's going to be wandering around, glancing at books,
Mhm.
and whenever possible, when nobody's watching, slipping books into the saddlebags.
Nope. Yeah, that sounds very much on brand. Lilith.
Lilith is going to be staying by Raiko just to help them stay comfortable, and is also conveniently wanders so that they're right in front of Reno as Reno steals the books.
Good.
And
good.
if Reno ever questions Lilith is just like, listen, I like books. And this is just freeing the books.
Liberating information.
Liberate Robin Hood, but for literary liberty.
Okay, and Herbie, where would you like to position yourself?
Herbie would notice that Reno's grabbing the books and immediately assumes it's a library, so very enthusiastically is going and pulling stuff off the shelf, making a bigger and bigger stack.
Just this stack of books. You find him and tell go, excuse me, where do I check these out? I have a student card.
I'm going to be such a bad influence on Herbie.
I think you're the best influence. Val and Hans will sit themselves on a sofa that's maybe a little too small for them. Riker will be hovering somewhere nearby. Perumps, I said, has claimed a chaise longue and is sprawled out over it, while the Duke has stood himself near a fireplace, and he opens a very thin poetry book and flicks through and goes, everyone, I just found the most wonderful poem to cement how I feel about today on this wonderful days. Roses are red. Daffodils are yellow. Sin will kill us all. But my son came home. Truly inspired. Really,
How long ago was that written?
really
So,
feel the gravitas. The right emotions.
it is also a very specific poem for today's situation.
I'm going to laugh if this was written by like a great-great-grandfather, because it's like, how often does this happen in your family?
Well, that was written by my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. Was the sun was a metaphor, or I don't really know what. A lot of his poems usually end with, "And then my son came home." I just think he wasn't very good at writing poetry, and he wasn't very good at ending them, because in his son's journal, it states how he would always come home from his schooling, and his father would put down everything immediately and go and interact and help him. So maybe he just wasn't good at reaching fulfilling conclusions.
At about the time he said daffodil, Herbie materialized a couple of pieces of wax and shoved in his ears.
Just
I'm trying to read here.
Perumpt is sprawled out and goes, "Well, see, my favorite poem goes kind of like, if you like pina colada,
God.
and
Lean towards Lilith. Does he know what a pina colada is?
I'm not sure.
So I don't think he knows what a martini is.
oh god, this is awful. This is terrible for everyone involved. What is the
They're all-
situation?
We are all going to be very satisfied when we kill him.
So much.
Mhm. We're gonna fucking celebrate.
So
We're gonna level up twice just for putting up for him for that long.
So after the poetry reading, the salon kind of it hits a lull. People engaging, chatting amongst themselves. Perumpt looks like he's talking to people, but is really just talking to himself, and occasionally to any attendant who gets stuck in his like social bubble for more than the minimum amount of time. And
He's talking
Perumpt,
at people.
yeah, just like speaking at them, and so much of it. So, and then what I did is I really invigorated the whole system, but just, making it about me. Before me, Maesters didn't have solid gold boats, but I gave myself a solid gold boat.
That's funny. So did we.
Yeah, it was really good. I got a lot of praise for my initiative. Lots of people in
That's
all
funny,
of
so did
Spira.
we.
Lots of people all over Spira think that having a solid gold boat is a wonderful sign of success. I do that so that regular people, like farmers and other poor people, look up to my success and think, wow, he sure is successful.
Yeah.
Like, and the best part is, he thinks what he's saying is really inspired. And, really like, yeah. And the attendant like, please just let me leave. Please.
Poor attendant.
It's like a scene from Airplane when the attendant's just starting to eye things that could be stabby implements.
Yeah.
A part of me wants Lilith to uh, just because she also pities the attendant, just make an excuse of like, oh hey, I ran out of whiskey. Can you refill it?
Oh,
Yes. Run as fast as you can.
Yes, right away. He runs. There's a dust cloud left of them. Or is it just because the entire
Orange dust. Though.
Yeah, this entire 5-foot radius around Pahrump is a different atmosphere filled with Cheeto dust. The Duke goes, but here's a good one. How about we talk current affairs? There's always such fascinating, whimsical things going on, don't you know? I've heard that, that people are still going off on those pilgrimages. Isn't that wonderful news? Yes. It's jolly good that people are out there, happy, willing, and able to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. I considered being a summoner once, briefly. But then I realized I have much more important things to do. Like keeping my community safe. And, I've been making a new wine. That's very important work. Couldn't do that if I was one of those summoners, which I could probably very well be. I'm very skilled and masterful.
Speaking of probably, out of curiosity, how did your child disappear? Was it like just a mid-afternoon thing where he walked off, or was there a plot afoot?
So, what we were doing is we were going on a small excursion of sorts, some political thing, going around seeing the local areas and going further afield on trips of good fortune and we'd stopped by at this rather podunk little rundown place. What was it called? Jose. Yes. And I remember we'd stopped and just let the little one run off and play because there was always people looking after her, and it's fine, it's wonderful, it's great. And I remember some priest, somebody had come and started whittering on about how the temple was struggling financially and that there'd been a sin attack recently. And I remember looking and going, wow, that's very, very unfortunate. Have you considered, having more money? Good advice for anyone, if you ask me. And the priest, he didn't take kindly to that advice. I think something about feeling condescended to, and it kicked up an awful fuss. It almost came to blows. I mean, not really, because I had him arrested on the spot for insubordination and taken care of. But in all the kerfuffle, there was some such nonsense. There was such a thing. There was a lot of hoopla and hullabaloo and all this nonsense. And quite frankly, it was all getting a bit much. So I just got out of there. It was only 5 days later did I realize that my son wasn't with me. It was rather unfortunate. But then I realized, he's clearly been kidnapped. couldn't possibly, couldn't have done anything about it, obviously. It certainly wasn't caused by a level of ineptitude. Clearly he was kidnapped, absconded into the night, if you will, by some ne'er-do-well. Probably that priest I had arrested. Good thing.
Lilith just looks over at Reno and Herbie just like,
Reno is thinking very clearly, all expression on her face indicating we need to get probably out of here.
just Lilith just looks at, just in her head is just like, I guess Operation Safe probably years ago.
No. So, I distinctly remember now. Son, he was playing with some flowers. I remember having an attendant go over and pull those flowers out and say, "Stop playing with flowers. You need to buckle your ideas up because we're here on a very important business." And I remember that. And then I had the attendant take him round and straighten him out, essentially. Because it was just not very. It wasn't very proper. It wasn't. He wasn't creating the air of authority that we were going for. You see, so it must have been at that time where something terrible went awry. Poor defenseless child was absconded into the night. Oh, tragic tale, really. Don't you agree?
Did he?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going
did
to.
the attendant
to-
return?
Oh yes, the attendant came back. The attendant, he looked rather. I don't really remember much. The whole kerfuffle with the priest was going on. But I remember an attendant having a broken arm for the rest of that journey. You don't know how that happened.
I'm going
probably
to go
clumsy.
over. I'm gonna go over to Val and Hans. Get him real close. I'm like, okay, you two need to go find Plowboy, and you need to ask him very clearly if he wants to stay here. If the answer is no, he's coming back with us.
Val looks and goes, "Yeah."
Grab one of the attendants that was being harassed by Frumpt and ask them to take you to Plowboy.
I can do that. And so Val's like, "Yep, okay, I'll get on with that." And Hans is like, "Yeah, of course.
I'm going to grab Hans real quick. Hans,
Yes.
we're being subtle about this. That means we're not going to be loud about it, right?
Hans looks at us. I'm uncertain if you're being. I'm not entirely certain if you're being condescending right now, but
I'm being cautious right now.
I was going to ask what subtlety meant, so probably a good call.
It
Okay,
means
let's get
that probably should be the only one that hears those words.
Got it. Now, excuse me. Me, Hans, the wonderful hero which you think I am, I need to go tinkle. Where does I do that? Ah, wonderful thing.
Just has her face in her hands.
Val goes, I'm gonna go make sure he doesn't break anything. Thumbs up. And Val and Hans
In general.
will leave the room, leaving the three of you, Raiko, Perumpt, and Duke. The Duke is clearly very distressed, telling this tale of heartbreak, trying to comprehend what kind of person would just kidnap a child. It's horrible. This child who was clearly very happy being scolded and told to act a certain way. Ugh. Such a horrible thing to happen to me. Why do bad things happen to good people?
If probably comes with us, I want to put out there that maybe he would be happy attending university.
Oh,
We do have a menagerie.
I like that.
he could also get adopted into Lilith's growing family of her parents, and her siblings that came from an interdimensional baby closet.
These are all good ideas. These are all fantastic ideas.
We went from a joke character to must protect.
Yeah.
That's how all show characters go, I think.
Yeah. Hearing this tragic tale of, clear and obvious distress, Grunt will chime in and go, yeah. I remember one time when somebody stole my chocolate pudding. Breaking.
Well, these two were made for each other.
What was most distressing about the whole scenario is I had an empty chocolate pudding container. And it was just gone. I don't know how it went. But there I was, pudding container in hand, chocolate pudding on my face, and no pudding. Got stolen from right underneath my eyes. Tragedy.
Reno's gonna be looking around desperately to see if it's been an hour yet.
You look at the clock. You're fairly certain time has gone backwards. You're going, why?
The clock is not working.
That just means that me and Herbie have to figure out how to fix it.
Is there
Yeah.
any specific interactions people would like to have whilst engaged in this parlor?
I mean, I think we've pretty much decided who the enemies are.
I mean, yeah.
Oh dear.
Does Bardic have a theme making antagonists? Who would have thought?
And one of these jackasses is supposed to be protecting the way into the afterlife.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that's something. If you allow the conversation to, if anyone starts a conversation off or brings up, the far plane and Guadasalam, Prompt at that point will chime in and go, you know what, I'm really, really glad you brought that up. Because what I'm here to do is I wanted to engage in conversations with you, Mr. Duke, about essentially finding a way that we could, profit on this very important, religious and spiritual side. I was thinking maybe we put up some kind of toll booth, because I think that'd be great. To charge people for coming in and looking at the fireplace. I'm sure you gotta consider the upkeep. Getting closure, seeing your dead relatives, that stuff doesn't come for free. So I always wondered if it'd be possible for me to get a private tour of the fireplace.
Lilith is just very stealthily just tapping on the holster that is just holding her sword. Not in a very obvious way, but just in a
Just
don't
like
pick it up.
I'm
Don't understand.
I could do it. I could kill you right now.
There's too many things at stake, but if I was another kind of woman, I could just
It's like Hawkeye. Nobody would know.
no. No one would care. Actually, a few people would care because the Duke would probably care. But
You know what? You could kill him as well. I could do it.
this isn't helping the Dark Knight stereotypes.
I could
This is
kill
what my
everyone in
teacher
this
meant
whole
about the dark
fucking
side being
room.
intoxicating.
Yeah, Pahrump makes it very obvious. Well, he's explained the reason why he's here, about wanting to find a way to make money off of the far plane, and then following that up by essentially schmoozing to get some kind of private tour of it, which maybe we should have a little bit of raised eyebrows at. Maybe.
Would I be able to roll inquiry, or would inquiry be the right skill to be like, to try to see like, is that really what you're after? Like, is that really the reason why you want a private tour into the far plane?
I mean, if you want to ask a question, yeah, you could roll inquiry.
Okay, okay, how would I play dumb? I'm sure that it probably wouldn't be something that I would comprehend, you know, just being the hanger-on of the main hero Hans, but what would this private tour into the far plane entail? Like, is it just to see how to make profits off of it, or?
I'll try and put this in, simple words, because, I don't want to overload anybody's tiny brain as we try to contemplate my amazing business genius, money-making, intelligence, skill, amazingness. But what I want to do is I want to go and walk around the fire plane to see if there's any hidden profits to be made. Yeah. Profits is the word I was looking for after hidden there. Yep. Hidden profits.
Mm-hmm. Hidden profits.
Lots of things have they have assets that can be hidden. And so I want to go and personally inspect it, because only someone with the genius level intellect and business skill that I have, because not many people are capable of growing businesses from nothing. Just a small multi-million gil investment in an entire company from my father. I started with nothing. Now look at me. Started with nothing. It's all skill. It was, access. I earned my way into the Yevon school. Not because my father bought half of it. Nope. Earned it. Earned my way. Paved it. Myself. All on my own. With my immense level of skill. Because I'm just so smart. So smart.
Mm-hmm.
Every couple of minutes while he's droning on, Herbie kind of does a gesture over his shoulder and knocks his beverage over. Got a telekinesis.
So you're knocking Parump's drink over onto him. Parump looks down, and Parump will lift the gown up, like his robe, and start sucking the liquid out of his gown. He goes, "Look, see? Genius. Not wasting a drop."
Am I able to roll inquiry to just try to
Yes, please do.
Okay. Can I use the 1d6 that Strider gifted me
You most
a
certainly
while
can.
back? Okay, so it would be 3d6?
Yep.
Okay. 26 plus 2. Damn.
Okay, 15. Wow. So let me check. Let me check my notes. Because I think a 15. 15 comes above impressive. So the examples it gives for impressive are drive a motorbike across a collapsing bridge or slip out a pair of manacles. So your impressive level of inquiry, you can deduct that beyond this seemingly reasonable request, Perumpt is looking for something. And has suspicion that maybe the far plane is an access point to what he is looking for.
So,
Now, sorry, Ren, did you have a question? Or
well, I was going to ask. I've been here observing Prompt for a while, and we have a suspicion that he's not entirely human.
Yeah.
Would I have been observing him long enough to be able to do a monster lore roll?
Ooh. Yes. Yes.
And
And
also, to add on to what you mentioned, Bardic, is there any way to possibly contact Leviathan, be like, oops, I forgot I dropped my pen outside, better go look for that before it gets washed up, and then run outside and try to contact Leviathan?
I don't think we have an active means of contacting Leviathan, as far as I'm aware. Did Leviathan did make himself a summon for you. But I think that would be a bit obvious. Going, one sec. Oh, Jesus!
Giant serpent appears.
Oh, giant serpent!
So, might be a little bit of a giveaway.
Okay.
There's not a subtle way to commune with Leviathan currently.
There's no subtle way. Yeah.
So I was reading the innate skill for Blue Mage
Yeah.
because I realized I hadn't read through my abilities in a while, and I get a bonus to my lore monster rolls equal to the number of monster spells that I have.
Oh.
So my skill plus that bonus would be +7 together.
Wow. Okay, yeah, let's go.
Make sure I'm in the right screen. Are you... You know, I roll a lot of ones. It's still a 13, but I roll a lot of ones.
13 is still pretty good. 13 is challenging. So cook a meal for royal family, disarm an ancient trap. So for monster, you can do a whole bunch of different stuff with lore monster. Like learn arbitrary things like what do they eat, how quickly do they move. What information do you think specifically you're trying to figure out? Like just what he is?
Yeah, I want to, based on what I'm observing, I want to know if his behavior, especially the way he is physically moving, is more like a monster than it is a human.
So Perumpt carries himself very strangely. Like, he looks like a human, and the things he says resemble things that a human would say, but at the very least, either incredibly disconnected from the concept of humanity and is kind of just pretending, or it's hard to really describe it. It's like, it's as if someone essentially read a book on how to be a human, but only skimmed through it and went, yeah, I get it. And is kind of doing that.
Read the Cliff Notes.
Yeah. I mean, not even... No, they skimmed through the Cliff Notes.
See, I'm being reminded of a fictional character from a thing, but I'm also thinking at the very least there was only one kind of odd quirk that made it a bit like, maybe you're not human. And also, they were a likable character.
And so, what's really strange is you can tell that this person probably at some point could have not been this awful, and it's through a combination of absolute indifference to other people and total and utter egotism, where this person probably knows that some of the stuff they say and do and think isn't fair, and it certainly isn't kind. But also, why would anybody care? Or more, why should I care? Because I benefit, so fuck everyone else. Which, yes, there is a perfectly valid argument that could be interpreted as the natural state of humans, but it feels so detached from any kind of concept of reprimand. It feels detached from the concept of consequence. This is exactly what would happen if you gave anybody the access to do things without fear of repercussion or consequence, regardless of how bad their actions were. And so then you really have to start questions like, even if this person was human at some point, they have lived and experienced life in such a manner, but God knows how long. You know that Prompt has been alive for 1,000 years at least. Being able to live like that, well, then you are entirely detached from any kind of social humanity, and you are just a monster. And that's pretty much what you can tell. This is someone who has been in such a position of privilege that they can't even be considered the same as other people anymore.
I'm going to take out my book
Yep.
that I've been writing my treatise in, and I'm going to start a new entry.
Going.
What's it called?
The new entry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's untitled right now. It's basically unknown monster. I'm just gonna start making notes.
Um.
Because that is one of her long-term goals.
I'm gonna learn every monster. I regret learning about this monster.
She's gonna write the treatise on monster lore and prove that blue magic is a viable study.
Oh. Nice.
It's corrupt is a thing, and that is what we comprehend currently. So, with that,
Bottom, I'm gonna write a note. Propensity for Cheeto dust might be a defense mechanism.
okay, that's funny. All right. Is there anything else anybody would like to maybe do it in this scene, or do we think we are good to move on to the actual dinner?
A part of me, just because I want to see what you come up with, a part of me wants to ask about Plopabui's mother. Like, where is she in all of this? Or just be like, also going back to your son's terrible kidnapping, it must have been especially hard on did he, if another parent or
On the Duchess.
Yes. My dear wife. She took our child's he took our child's kidnapping very hard. She did the whole thing. She put on a black dress. I think she took to drinking. Though she drank before. I don't know, it changed. She was no longer drinking for fun. It was more drinking. Oh no, she was having fun actually as well. You know what? If she wasn't off in her separate parlor room right now, I would downright ask her how she felt about it. Because, quite frankly, I don't think I ever did. He seemed fine. Or maybe not. Probably.
I think that even if he doesn't want to come, we take him.
She really, really got into knitting. Definitely took up knitting, I remember that. But no, she knitted before. Did she knit?
Find out that it's not even knitting, it's like latch hook or something.
It turns out the wife isn't even here. She left ages ago and just left a letter of just like, "Dear blank, I'm leaving."
Going out for milk. I'll see you in like 10 years.
See, I can't remember if I had the wife appear last time.
You didn't. It was only the
The
Duke.
father, yeah. I'm trying to remember if I had her appear and like hug the child and go. "Ah." But quite frankly, I just love the concept of this Duke, essentially not knowing or caring. And I suppose to a certain extent, I'm not going to put. Well, I am going to put a lot of the blame on the Duke. From the small bits you can infer, the Duchess probably reacted in a very similar way. Oh no, this grave inconvenience to my life. Distress. Ooh, look at that. I've got a new knitting project to get on with. So it's almost like there's an acknowledgement of tragedy, but not enough to distract from living a life of abject luxury. Almost like I have an opinion on rich people.
See, I still like my headcanon of she isn't even here. He's just been talking to a mannequin all this time. The wife left ages ago.
I mean, at the very least, she mentally checked out. I think she's there because it's comfortable.
No, she was doing that before. No.
Yeah.
She's just completely broken in grief, just holding a sack of flour as if it's a baby.
No, the thing is, she's fine. Just as the Duke has been fine. There's an acknowledgement of, oh no, my son, that terrible thing. I'm gonna get on now.
It's the servants that actually gave a shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
The attendants
The
are maybe a
servants
little
had their own
aggravated.
little,
I think really the true tragedy of it all is, despite levels of distress and trauma of this child, this actual literal child going missing, these people just kind of got on. Not in a, ooh, we'll try our best and we'll show reverence for our missing. No, just went, alright. I mean, yeah, it's shit, but
See, now I'm just imagining
I
that
got
all
other stuff to
of
do.
if this was a game, we would just see a bunch of flashbacks of all of the servants just making a little shrine dedicated to the son, just making his room all clean, just in case he ever comes back. Like every night of his birthday, they set off fireworks or something, and meanwhile the parents are just like gone off somewhere.
So it's exactly that. They have the annual fireworks festival, and the parents go, "Huh, what's this for again?" "Oh yeah, our son. Oh yeah, tragic."
It's like a thing of, you see it from, at first it shows the parents actually doing all of this stuff, but then as you learn more, the flashback comes back in a cutscene and it shows the truth, which is actually literally everyone else aside from the parents. Mourning and stuff.
I mean, there's definitely you can definitely figure out that it's not really very hidden that there when it publicly benefits them, the parents will turn it on. They'll be like, "Oh, it's so tragic. It's awful. Oh, sadness. This terrible thing that happened to us. It's so bad. This thing that happened to us. Don't you feel that's bad? We're people. We're people, and bad things have happened to us. Feel bad for us, and don't question why everyone's working hours have just increased by about 20%. Bad things happen, especially to us. It's very that.
Or
As you know,
probably.
they can take benefit off of this tragic thing happening to them."
Reno's desperately trying to get the clock to work.
The clock. Oh, right, the clock.
Is there anything else anybody would like to do, or are we just gonna go like, okay, this salon needs to end? We're all very mad now.
I have like multiple avenues of attack that I want to do.
Okay.
Mm.
So, with that, an attendant will come through and go up to the Duke and go, "Ah, wonderful, wonderful. The banquet is ready. Let's go. Come. And you will be escorted into the banquet. The banquet hall is filled with finery. Before you saw it in its half-filledness, now there's, flowers draping the walls, there's fine linens and silks hanging, there's too many candelabras lit. Like, the table is almost full of candelabras being lit, just to show off how many candelabras they have. And you all get
They
seated.
also have like wool or something just under all of the candelabras, so that if one of them falls, the entire table goes up in flames.
It is more than needlessly extravagant. It's overwhelmingly extravagant.
So they clean up after meals. They just set it on fire.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know that's what they do.
You
Because-
know what? That would be a very convenient way to get rid of excess dishes.
Yeah, they don't care.
Like, if you just got too many dishes, you can just burn it all.
Yeah,
And you could use the ash to make a new table.
exactly. And so you all get seated. Val and Hans, they come and sit themselves down, and Boy is escorted in. Boy has been tidied up, has been put into a very uncomfortable looking outfit. It's like a morning jacket with a tailcoat attached to it, cuffed sleeves, a big frilly ribbon around the neck, hair has been like slicked and tied back. This probably looks so uncomfortable being made to walk in as this. And an attendant goes, "Introducing for the first time in 30 years, the young master." Do we want a real name for Probably, or do we conveniently not hear it?
Who's loud
Make up
cheering?
a real name. You could make up a real name just so we could, in character and out of character, make fun of it. Like
Okay.
just being like, "Oh God, poor Probably."
Young
Reginald.
young master. Thinking. Okay. It gets announced for the first time in 30 years, young master Cuthbert Marjorie. And Paul walks in and goes. He tries to wave at you, and the attendant pushes his hand down. and you can see that this entire environment is nothing but oppressive to Probably. Probably wants to run and play and have fun. You see he wants to like grab like a little napkin that's been folded up like a swan, and someone comes by and goes, as Probably has sat down at his chair on the opposite side of the table. So all the guests are on one side. The Duke is at one end. The Duchess gets brought in from somewhere. She looks utterly disinterested. She sits at the other end of the table and probably is on one side of the table on his own.
Oh.
He sits there and he just looks so fucking sad.
Lean into Val. Please say he said he wanted to come with us.
I couldn't really get into the room to talk to him, but a couple of the attendants they tripped, and one tripped and one walked into a door. So I managed to slip a note under there. So I'm just waiting to get the reply now. I'm hoping that probably can slip it under the table.
Herbie is just blinking and going, this isn't right, and gives the Duke a death glare, stands up and drags his chair all the way around the table to sit next to Probably.
The Duchess, the Duchess faints. This clear insubordination. It is most uncouth. And she says that, goes, how uncouth! And she faints. She just falls on the floor, and the attendants just bend down, pick her up, and walk her out. It's like, yeah, it's a Wednesday. But Duke's
I haven't heard somebody say uncouth, and actually, I've never heard somebody say uncouth before. I've only read it in books.
The Duke is like mouth dropped, jaw agape, going. Like he can't find the words for this sheer lack of respect, as far as he's concerned. As probably
Make it worse.
Probably just smiles as you come and sit next to him, and he goes, I wasn't supposed to bring it down, but they didn't know about my little secret compartment I kept in my room. And, these are my toys. And he reaches into his jacket and he pulls out this tiny little wooden toy that clearly a child made. And see, he made it.
And Herbie gives him a nice pat on the hand while just giving the Duke a death glare. Just never breaks the eye contact. Just saying, I dare you.
Rito's like, oh, we're doing this now. And she's going to lean back in her chair and put both feet up on the table.
We're going to turn this into a college cafeteria in no time.
Lilith, what are you doing?
Just looking at her friends, just like, oh, I guess we're doing this now. Lilith's gonna look at all of the 5 forks and five knives, and just be like, yeah, this is probably good. This is probably good, and just picks up 2 at random, and just puts them on the plate, just like, beep.
I'll use these ones.
That is the final moment. At that, the Duke slams his hands on the table and goes, there's many things I can tolerate. There's many, many things. I am a very kind, open-hearted, open-minded ruler. I accepted the insubordination. I accept your relaxed demeanor. But you there, try to pair a melon spoon with a snail fork. Get out.
Rito's gonna smile. Dookie, have you ever had friends?
I had attendance.
Did you ever have friends? Do you know what a friend is?
Well, when I tell rip roaring good stories, all the attendants laugh, and they tell me to tell another one.
That's a nice dodge. So, important thing
Very
to
nice
note
dodge.
here. Yeah, important thing to note here. Your son has a couple of friends. Now, what's really interesting about that? Has it been an hour yet?
Yeah.
What's really interesting about that? Friends can get you into trouble, and friends can get you out of trouble. And I'm gonna glance at Polly. I'm like, "Do you want out of trouble?"
This is trouble where we are, right? This whole nonsensical charade of inaudible wealth. This is the trouble,
It's
right?
troubling to me.
Yeah, I want out. I don't like it. It's horrible. It's disgusting. Who needs this much stuff? There are 3 people who live here, and I've not lived here in 30 years. You don't need a table that seats 50 people when only 2 people eat here every night. It's ridiculous.
The only reason why you would have such a long table is if you had a lot of family, but as far as I can see, there's only 3 members of family.
I've not
This
even
table would be
been
suited
here.
And also, the only time I've ever seen this many utensils is when the twins back at my home would try to have little wars using forks and spoons and knives. Which, by the way, is freaking fun and silly, but also they're family.
Reno's going to stand up, and keep in mind that Reno doesn't wear shoes. She's going to stand up, and then jump up onto her chair and jump up onto the table, and pick up a piece of meat and bow while she's doing it. And she goes, "Sir Dookie, whatever the fuck you are, and whatever your job is," because she still doesn't know how the Church of Yevon works. We'll take our leave, but first we wanted to give you one last gift, and I'm gonna gesture to Val and Raiko.
With that, Val pulls her hairpin out and spins it round, and it becomes a sphere. Raiko puts Tauntaun on the table and stands up, and they both do the Yevon bow. So they swing their arms around, form a little invisible ball, and do a little bow, and then they start to dance. At which point the Duke is going, "I didn't realize we were entertaining. We were being entertained." And Parumt immediately is like, Parumt stands up, like knocking his chair over, and starts to stagger out of the hallway. They go, "Ooh, I gotta go. I've got an important business meeting."
I'm going to jump down and run to the entrance with my gunblade drawn. She's like, "You don't want to leave yet, do you?"
I got an important business. Yeah, it's very important.
Lilith just pulls out her whip sword and is just like, "Oh, but you're going to miss the wonderful dance. Please, we insist. Stay. It'll be the best one you see for the rest of your life, I'm sure."
Okay, so as you are trying to stop Parumt from leaving, Parumpt's entire body, as this dance starts going, and you see small little fireflies begin to fall off of Prompt. So these small little glowing orbs just pour off, and you see Pahrump like struggling to walk and move, and like his body like starts to almost turn to goop. Like part of like his face starts to melt a little bit, and like his bones almost like don't work, and the two of you like standing blocking the doorway.
Yep.
Not only that, but I feel like at this point Lilith is also trying to emulate the dance best she can.
Okay, I like that. Okay. Can the two of you please make an opposed force check for something, please?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Where is my force? Here it is.
And we round down for numbers, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Okay.
Why am I rolling ones?
So
That's
that
a 10.
is a 10 and an 11. Not bad. But you find yourselves. Pahrump like makes a lumbering movement to swing his right arm, and as he does so, it no longer resembles anything remotely human. It's almost bestial, but in this, it almost looks like a clump of wet clay, vaguely shaped into a three-pronged claw that is about the width of... I can't even describe how wide it is. Like, almost as if his arm has grown and twisted in size and shape to be about that of a good 50-year-old oak tree. And it just slams into the two of you, and it pushes you to the side. As Pahrump pulls himself with this and throws the main door open and looks out into the square of Guadalsalam, where there are dozens, hundreds, maybe, of people all performing this dance. You see at the very front, you see Biggs and Wedge, who have built a small stage to stand on as they're leading, and you also see the person in the full blue outfit with the yellow hat kind of like directing with his staff and going, "Come on, this is for Pahrump, yeah!" And there's too many people, arguably, like, and you're behind Pahrump at this point, and you just see like it looks as if he is being filled, like this is what I imagine, some poor attendant would have seen as Julius Caesar's guests were all leaving that day. You can see like 32 daggers just being rammed into Pahrump at every given moment. Just like his body is being ripped and torn and pulled and yanked, and it is both a very enjoyable and cathartic sight, but also, you can despise this
Elden Ring.
person. You can despise this person. You go, that's gotta hurt. Like, I'm glad it's happening to you, but does
You
any...
shout out.
What's Herbie doing, by the way?
Very good question, Herbie. You're sat with probably.
When everybody headed towards the door, Herbie totally used his telekinesis to literally flip the table.
Yes!
Nice!
Table flipped. Probably at that point goes, I don't want to stay here, Dad. I'm going out with my friends, because they're cool. You smell. Probably out!
Mechaqui's gonna like lean down so that probably can climb onto him.
Probably gets on Mechaqui, drops a bunch of forks on the floor as if doing a mic drop, and then sticks up 2 middle fingers at his dad as Mechaqui starts walking out going, probably out!
Yeah.
So, with that, Herbie, Mechaqui, probably, you're heading out. Val and Raiko, they're following this, continuing the dance. Hans has one final word to the dude, goes, you're a terrible father, and you should, just like, bad, like really bad. Also, I'm not the hero, I'm the hanger-on. I actually don't do a lot, I'm really just here because I look nice.
You're
I am the
helpful,
window dressing.
Hans.
Sorry, what were you gonna say, ATV?
I was just gonna. Loaf was just gonna shout, "You're helpful, Hans. We have you here because you're a joy to be around."
Damn right. All right, now I believe we're trying to kill this monstrosity. Now,
Oh, yes.
What's the dance?
Left
To
foot,
the mashed
right
potato. Hans is trying.
He's trying his
Good
best.
job, Hans.
Good job.
Nailed it.
So we move the scene, and we are watching Perumpt being ripped apart. Like every ounce of this person is being physically pulled from their body. As Perumpt, kind of turns his head and makes some kind of contact with you as this small, like, shrinking puddle into the floor. And goes, you think this is how I'm gonna be defeated? I got 4 more years. This is all an elaborate ruse. There's been some fraud. You ain't gonna stop me.
So Reno has been holding her hand out.
Mm-hmm.
And you just hear a very low, make room for the... And she's going to throw a goblin bomb at him because he's not dying fast enough.
Okay, Goblin Bomb. It hits this small, shriveling pile of Perumpt. Do you want to roll? You want to tell me how much damage that is?
Sure. That's power times 4 plus 2d6. Unless the target is a lower level, which I don't think he is.
Nope.
Hey, Bardic.
Yeah.
I know it's cheating, but can I give Reno a 1d6 for that? To help with that?
Yeah.
With the channel points. Okay.
So there is the catch that there is a 1 in 4 chance of it exploding prematurely.
Mm.
That is the wrong screen to do that. So I'm gonna roll a d4, and if it's a 1, it explodes on me.
Oh no! Don't do 1. Don't roll 1. Yeah.
Yes. Good thing I didn't pick 4. So with that boost, that's going to be power times 4 plus 3d6.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
My power is up here somewhere. It's 5. This is going to be 20 plus 3d6. What is with the ones today?
I mean, okay, 28 damage is a respectable amount. As you yeet this Goblin Bomb right at the shriveled pile of Perumpt. And like it makes like a small crater in his back that begins to like fall in on itself very quickly. At which point Perumpt kind of like smiles. Like this melting face, it contorts into this really horrible, crooked smile. He goes, at which point this puddle twists and pulls itself. It stretches and grows. This thin, essentially a piece of like string is stretched up. It ascends into the sky outside the front of the manor. It pierces into the ceiling above this city. And in the center, this small circle glows and throbs and expands as it glows a bright red. So, I've got good news and bad news. Good news for Reno. Bad news for everyone. Hey, Reno.
Hmm?
You still have that, you still learn just by watching stuff, right?
Yes.
Oh.
Cool. Do you want to know what spell you're about to learn?
Sure.
You're about to learn Supernova.
Oh.
Fun.
You can't cast it, but you can fucking learn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a thing.
As this thing, it glows, it grows, it keeps growing and expanding until this orb is pressing against the entire ceiling of Guado Salam. Like, everything above you. You can feel, like, the walls around the city shake, the tree roots start to burn up out of the earth as Supernova goes off. And there is just fire. This entire city is engulfed in flames. As Parumt has cast Supernova.
I feel like we could have done that better.
I was just going to say, does anyone have anything they want to say?
Hot.
What material? Would there be any way to counter that somehow? I assume not.
I mean, Supernova is at the highest tier of spell.
Yeah, it's an ancient level.
Yeah, it's a big spell. I mean, I am going to point out, this isn't being aimed at anybody. This is specifically being aimed to destroy the city itself. So it's not like this is killing anyone. This isn't like a direct attack. This is just, yeah, I'm destroying everything now. So, I mean, I think right then and there, it stops people doing the dance.
Because I'm just... Yeah, because we got Bismarck, and also Lilith knows the water spell.
I mean, you have Bismarck, you have access to Leviathan. You would have ways to put a stop to the fire. It may not be instant, and the damage is quite, like, undoable, but you could stop any further damage. But in doing so, there's no way in hell that Parumt is going to get sent. These are the choices. You can either go, no, we're going to fight Parumt. We're going to do it now. Look, we can totally do it. We can totally fight Parumt right here, right now. But the city would be on fire. You can make use of Bismarck. You can go, oh, we're helping, we're going to stop stuff now. You can make use of Leviathan.
So,
You have options. So it's really whatever you think would be for the best.
I have an idea.
Okay, yeah.
What's the idea, Rain?
So, I think that based on how our dynamic has worked so far, priority should be putting out the fire, just because people don't really deserve this.
Mm-hmm.
But I have nothing that will help put out the fire.
Yeah.
So, while we work on that, I want to do a parting shot on prompt to see if it'll kill him.
Okay.
Because what I want to do, I can't cast Supernova.
Oh no.
But-
What are you doing, Rain?
But I was reading Supernova. It can be a single target,
Yes.
and I have Arcane Gremlin, which lets me, if I hit, lets me force a target to cast a spell.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
I can make prompt cast Supernova on himself.
Oh.
Okay.
So you tried that, and then I tried to summon Bismarck, I guess, to help put out fire. Herbie.
Herbie pulled a fire extinguisher out of nowhere and is running around just spraying random spots of fire.
Well,
Ladder accidents, I'll get expelled.
on the plus side, probably can't do anything just yet, but probably will. In a second, Val is, just walking around, stomping on fire. Hans, you see Hans making sure to grab like as many people as he can and like hoist them up onto his shoulders and like run them away from fire. Like everyone is going like full, like action movie team, help, save, do things, running off in their own directions, doing good stuff. Okay. Reno
is not helping.
you are going to attempt this Arcane Gremlin. Remind me how this works.
So Arcane Gremlin is the special ability that I get from my Engineer innate ability. So I'm basically attaching it to a bullet that I'm using the innate ability on to create, which also gives the bullet explosion, if I remember correctly.
It does.
So I have to succeed on hitting him with my gunblade. And if I succeed on hitting him, I believe my special ability goes off.
Okay. Let's do it.
Now I have to remember how to fire this gun. So, 2d6 plus...
Be your accuracy.
So 2d6 plus 2. And do I get any bonus to that because of tier?
Tier only applies to damage, I think, because most things in this are easy to hit. It's more about like how much they resist it and.
Okay. I'm really curious what'll happen if this succeeds.
Wait, I'm just thinking like in terms of resistances. Lilith's one of Lilith's limit breaks. Then wait, no, she can't actually. There's requirements to use that though. Because like her limit break can make enemies just have different weaknesses to stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking like, wait, I have an ability that could make it so he is just weak to the element that Supernova is.
Supernova is technically unelemented.
Oh, okay.
It's unaspected.
Oh, it wouldn't work. Okay. Lilith is back to her Bismarck plan then.
Okay,
She's
let's
just
see if
off
this-
summoning Bismarck right now.
Let's see if this magic bullet hits. Probably not. I have rolled a 1 for every single roll.
Yeah, 6. 6 does not hit Parump's evasion.
Crap.
But you know what? You're essentially having a very impressive moment as you've seen this. I can't even describe what this is. This person who melted and they turn their arm into like a big fat tree trunk like thing, and then they're just this thin strip of material that created a supernova, and you just go, all right, I'm gonna shoot it. Bang. And the bullet, it like just passes through it. In this shape, it kind of shrinks itself. Well, it kind of shrinks itself down into something vaguely resembling Parumpt. Although the shell that was Parumt. The whole aesthetic, this, horrible money grubbing type thing, that's gone. Still wearing the gown, but they now appear to be quite young looking. Face very smooth skin, long platinum blonde hair that is in like a very elegant like 3-tiered plait going down the back. Basically a real pretty looking boy. Very classic Final Fantasy antagonist. And you see there's there is one mark on their face, this strange like crack that goes across their left eye. It's like a scar, but not really, because it physically just looks like a dark black cut. As if suggesting there's nothing inside of this. And that blackness is just the void into nothingness. So the bullet misses, and this person looks at it. Valiant attempt. Now, I must say, in some ways, I'm glad you have finally killed Parunt. That shell was growing tiresome. I believe you have more pressing matters to deal with, like the burning of this entire city. So I'll be on my way. I shan't forget these betrayals. As this very pretty boy just flounces off. I mean, I say flounces. They begin to take a step away, and then their body just kind of collapses in on itself, and then explodes into a swarm of not even like bats, but like horrible, twisted, red-eyed, fanged vermin. Like, just horrible creatures. It explodes into a swarm of easily a couple hundred of them and just flies off and starts making its way to the far plane, which there is an open access point to here in the city.
Reno's gonna yell, "You're still a dick!"
The bats laugh. This awful chitinous. Lilith, I assume you want to fucking summon Bismarck and help put out this fire.
Yeah, Lilith has. I assume she's went to another area where there's room to basically summon Bismarck.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, no time to explain. Lot of fire, need help putting it out.
Raiko will tag along with you. As you summon Bismarck, Raiko will summon Leviathan. A giant whale and a giant sea serpent spawn, and they put out the vast majority of the fire, leaving giant puddles of water, which probably will then pull out his 2 silver bells and do a happy little rock out dance to him and take that water, use his geomancing powers to help put out any other fire that he can, and essentially create moldable mud from the earth with the water, and use that to re-secure and essentially stop the tree above them, the entire city falling it down. So there's now a large pillar of mud going up out of the Duke's manor that is now holding up the tree. Probably destroyed his family home to do this, which was also very cathartic.
Mm-hmm.
He got his toys out. That's the important thing.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I know what I can do to help. I just thought of that.
Are you actually going to help, or are you going to do something terrible?
No, this should actually help. Mekakui has ice breath.
Ooh.
Yay!
because that was the when you get the companions, they can take one attack ability,
Yeah,
and I made Mekaqui's elemental ice.
very smart.
So I'll just take Mekakui around, and if a fire's getting way too out of hand, I'll just start icing it.
And Herbie, is there anything that you would like to do to contribute to helping in this big "we're helping" montage?
Possibly. Question.
Yeah.
Destiny points. How many of those should I have?
That is a very good question. Where?
I know one for sure.
Definitely, you already had one, and then since you were joining us at level 5, I think you essentially have a pool of. You should have had a pool of, I think 5, and then the one you earned the other session. So you should have 6, I think.
Excellent. Second question is Prompt still bipedal and on the walking on the ground?
I mean, if you want to do this before Perumpt turned into an explosion of bats, yes, we can retcon that. Perumpt was bipedal for a moment, but if you're wanting to do something before he exploded into a bunch of bats, you can totally do that. What are you doing?
I have a limit break.
Yes.
That's Cosmic Standstill.
Oh.
I
Okay.
want to stop
Oh.
time for 3 rounds.
Nice.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay, so please describe how this works.
Herbie pulls out a pocket watch
Mm-hmm.
and clicks it, and everything except Herbie comes to a standstill. And Herbie's going to nonchalantly walk over to Prompt and truss him up with some rope.
Okay.
Tie his feet together, tie his hands together, all that sort of stuff.
I really, really enjoy that mental image. We're saying this is happening just before Prompt explodes into a bunch of bats. He just walked up, like, tied them up, going, do.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
And once that's done, walk over towards another spout of fire to be ready with the fire extinguisher when time unfreezes.
I love how Herbie's just like, helping. I think that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, well, everything else happened as it happened. Bismarck, Leviathan, destroy the family home, build a tower. Mekakui is also a fire extinguisher. Perumpt has his nonsense, and then is all of a sudden tied up in rope. He goes, I am confused, but also I set a whole city on fire. Was ropes really the plan?
Herbie just kind of shrugs.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm certainly impressed, but also I set a city on fire. I respect the hustle, but now excuse me. I need to activate my serious tone. It has menacing overtone. Because now... Okay, 1 second. I've nearly got it. And he'll still turn into a bunch of bats, but there's an amusing moment where it's a struggle. because I respect the limit break. I respect the ropes.
Worth it.
Worth it.
There's definitely a moment of struggle and confusion, which I applaud. And if anything, you now get a little bit of a moral victory in this situation. And you know what? Get a destiny point for it, because that was hilarious. Not Perumpt, because Perumpt was just a facade he's been masquerading around as for the last millennia. So, you know what? You get the joy. You technically killed Perumpt. Now we've got something much worse.
Yeah, does it count as a boss kill? I mean, we level up every time we kill a boss.
This is a boss kill, so you do level up.
Yay!
Yay!
Also, I guess we would have to mention to Leviathan, oh, by the way, they're heading to the far plane.
Leviathan
hide
is like I should do something.
You might get indigestion.
I'm going to go and do something about that. And Leviathan disappears because I got shit to do. Okay. So Perumpt, bunch of bats, they're flying towards the far plane, they're going in. Okay. We're nearly reaching the end of the session here, so I just want to inquire. For next time, there's really two possibilities. Can either go, we're chasing after that guy, we're gonna like plunge into the plummets of the far plane and see what's what with this thing that can cast ancient level magic. We can chase after it. Or maybe we hope Leviathan can at least slow that down, and I don't know. Most of these citizens kind of need evacuating out of this place. Like, they can't live here anymore. So what really holds more appeal? Like, do you as a group feel that you want to or can chase after not Perumpt and actually do something? Or would you rather help the people here and maybe see what else goes on?
I mean, we could have, like, because in terms of it being able to cast ancient level spells, I feel like that would be a problem for us. So we could have, like, Leviathan help us keep tabs on what's going on somehow.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if, like, would the other summons be able to, like, have any
Reach the far
connection
plane?
to the far plane? I have no idea.
I mean, yes. Okay. So, something just dawned to me, because I literally thought it up, mostly because I think it'd be a hilarious joke. But I believe it could and would be possible. Before Leviathan just like, alright, peace, I'll go take care of that. Leviathan will establish a means of communication. I think that means of communication is messages in bottles, but is in any pool of water. Doesn't matter how big, how small. If you need to communicate with Leviathan, you can pour a glass of water, you get a bottle, put a note in it, drop it in, Leviathan will get it.
See, what I thought you were going to say was he was gonna give us a phone that vaguely looked like him. Just like the Arc phone back in Legends Arceus.
I mean, that works. I personally love the idea of like messages in bottles. So you're walking by a puddle and just a bottle goes bloop. You go, oh cool. You need to contact him. You go, who has a water skin? Let me just make a puddle. Just throw some water on the ground and throw a bottle with a note in it into the puddle and it just disappears. Like,
I mean, I also like the message in a bottle thing a lot more.
okay.
Or else I'm just gonna be making fun of how God gave us a phone again.
So, yeah. So before Leviathan leaves, Leviathan promises, like, I will take care of this, I'll do what I can, I'll be in contact, here's how I'll do it. And you know what? Leviathan's not going to disappear. The swarm of bats, they're flying to the far plane. You see Leviathan, Big Daddy Leviathan, this giant sea serpent, fly across the sky of Guadalsalam into the cave that goes to the far plane. And if we're all okay as a group, like, we don't want to go there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Leviathan's going to collapse the cave to the far plane. Just
Right.
there we go. Cool. All agreed.
Very fair.
I just didn't want to, like, rule that out for you. If you wanted to go, like, yeah, we'll fight him, we could make that work. But
We can open the cave up whenever we feel we can.
yeah, we can go open up whenever. You're fine. So with that, we'll figure out what we're doing next time. We've got a city full of people whose homes may have been slightly damaged and or destroyed to sort out. You did technically just kill a maester in front of everyone. So
They saw what he became.
I mean, they did. They did. But I will also point out in Final Fantasy X, they saw what Seymour did. And that's like, you killed a maester, dude. It's like, look at him. He is a literal monster in the main temple. And they go, yeah, but he's a position of authority, dude, so sucks to be you. So there's stuff there.
Yeah.
Listen, if they complain about us not killing a monster, then we won't put out the rest of the burning houses.
Ah, you know what? That's a very good bargaining chip.
Do you want our help to put these fires out?
Okay. So next time, we'll figure out what we're doing for next time. Does anybody have any final scene or interactions they would like to cover in character? Because a lot of stuff just happened.
Yeah, I'll throw a hint out. Reno will, while directing Mecha Queen to run around, Reno doesn't really have to be with him.
Mm-hmm.
So Reno will find a place where she can crouch and pull out her journal and start making more notes. But while she's making notes, she'll like pause for a moment and kind of tap her pen on her head. And instead of the sound you would think would make, you hear a dink, 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 dink. Before she goes back to writing.
Okay. Nice. Lilith, do you have any scene you would like to cover, or anything you'd like to go, like, exclaim? You just want Lilith to shout, like, really loud and go, fuck!
You said that Val got like some bottles of vodka, right?
Yeah.
Can Lilith is just gonna go up to her and be like, "Hey, I know it's a big ask, but could I borrow one of those bottles of vodka you took?"
Val will very happily, like you see Val going around the group, handing everyone a bottle of liquor, going, "We're gonna need this."
Yep.
Okay. Herbie, do you have anything you'd like to?
No, Herbie's pretty settled with the action and is just in general help mode.
Okay. Well, I actually had one thing I wanted to do with Herbie. As Val is going around offering everyone drinks, she'll get to Herbie and go, "Ropes, huh?"
Yeah, ropes, it's under pressure.
And you were just carrying those around with you?
Yeah, they're in my locker.
Okay, you know what? I wouldn't have thought, but you know what? It's not my place to make assumptions what people are into. That's cool. It's really cool. It's kind of hot.
Herbie kind of blushes and shrugs and
Do you want a drink?
like kind of tries to hide in his lab coat a little.
She offers you a drink. Oh, okay, I love that. All right, with that, we're gonna wrap it on up for the day. I would like to give a huge thank you to my wonderful players for engaging in this shenanigans and nonsense. And you know what? That is probably the most to plan that we have ever stuck. The city caught on fire, but I think other than that, it was we stuck to a plan really well.
I didn't like it. Next time, chaos.
Yeah. So I have been the Bardic Knock. You can find me on the internet, Twitter, Twitch page, on YouTube, all as the Bardic Knock. I've had a blast. I'm enjoying this, and I definitely feel that we are moving away from the move to place, do a thing. We're definitely going like building towards some kind of plot. They go, okay. So there's the antagonist. So I'm excited to see where we go. ATB, who are you?
Hi, I'm a tired bye. I was playing Lilith today. Who has drinks now?
Drink's good.
I also had an ability that I feel could have been helpful, but also it was between that and summoning Bismarck, so you know, it could have been helpful, but it's fine. You can find me here every second Saturday, so next Saturday for After DSURCOM, which is a One Piece game, where I play as Zelda Bonnie, the pirate warlord who might be winning or losing a Davy back, who knows. Hopefully, it'll depend on when we play again. I think words made sense there.
Yep.
And also, you can find me over on the Undead Case channel every second Thursday, so this coming Thursday for Curse of Strahd Barovian Days, where I play as Zatari, the ASMR Bard, who... I like the parallel of Zatari was at a dinner with Strahd von Zarovich, and was trying her best to be formal as heck to avoid getting killed. And Lilith is over here doing the cardinal sin of choosing whatever utensil she wants for food.
Yeah,
Because-
we still gotta deal with him. I forgot about him.
But yeah.
Anything else?
Don't think so. You also cut out a bit.
Okey-doke. Next up, we have Andy. Andy, who are you?
Hi, y'all. I'm Andy. I can be found on Twitter at Anthony Tift. I am recruiting for some games, and I forgot in the intros, the Omens Rising team just released a minigame on itch.io called Panda's Pet Friends. You ought to check it out. It's pretty cool. And I think that's it for me. I've been getting to learn Herbie and enjoy his snark.
I love Herbie. Herbie is amazing. And last up, we have Rain. Rain, who are you?
I am Rain Hayes, and other than finding me here, you can find me sometimes over on So Matty Games playing in their charity one-shots. You can also find me on Dungeon Masters Guild, where I just released a new playable race called the Creepers. I am really curious what would have happened if that bullet had hit.
I think it would have been super cool.
It would have been cool. I'm wondering if it would have been bad. If it would have made a bad situation worse.
You certainly would have pissed him off. I can
Somebody
tell
that
you
can-
exactly that much.
Somebody that can cast ancient level spells, and I make him cast it on himself. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Okay. So with that, once again, huge thank you to everyone. I'm going to wrap it up here. I'll get this edited and uploaded in the next couple of days. And until next time, stay safe. Happy adventures. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.